Welcome back. Joining me this morning is Heartland career coach Joe Szynkowki, here to talk about imposter syndrome when it comes to your job. So first, for people who don't know, what exactly is imposter syndrome?
Sure. Yeah, imposter syndrome is that feeling that you just quite don't belong. It might be from a feeling of inadequacy, even though you have the achievements and you have the experience on your resume, but you're in a job or you're with a team and it's that little voice in your head that tells you you don't quite measure up to everyone else who's around you.
And so who suffers from it? Is it literally anyone?
It's anyone. You would think it's just an issue for emerging professionals, maybe college students, not quite kind of there yet in their careers, but I talk to people every day in terms of job seekers, and it really impacts emerging up to executive. So it's this feeling of not, that you're not measuring up to what you kind of were hired to do. 65% of us have gone through it at some point. So yeah, it's something that's kind of universal and affects a lot of different people.
Yeah, is there ways to overcome imposter syndrome that you know of?
Yeah, I think I try to think a little bit differently here, where imposter syndrome has this negative connotation, but it can actually be one of the best things that happens to you in terms of if you use it correctly, if you channel it correctly, it can be something that actually grows you in your career, maybe pushes you, motivates you to try a little bit harder, go get some extra training, reach out for a mentor opportunity. So if used correctly, it can actually be something that helps your career blossom.
Yeah, and so when people have imposter syndrome, I guess one of the best things is to not necessarily believe that you are a fraud or that you can't do your job. I think that probably a big thing about it is telling yourself that you are capable, you were hired for a reason.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a huge kind of positive and benefit. If you can seek out mentors who have been there, done that, and kind of get some advice from them too, that's always a good thing to do. And if you've gone through it yourself, it can be a way that you can actually use it to be more empathetic toward people. So if you're a leader in a company and you see someone struggling, someone who's not raising their hand a lot to get involved with certain projects, you can actually be that person who says, I've been through it and I'm here to help you, and kind of put your arm around them and bring them through that situation.
Do you feel like imposter syndrome is something that has kind of made its way into people's lives more so these past few years, or do you think this is something that has always been a thing, it just maybe didn't have a name?
Yeah, I think people have always struggled with it since we kind of became people. So I think it was a term that came in the 1970s from some psychologists, but no, I think we've always felt this kind of self-doubt, and it's something that in the job market maybe is kind of relatively new in terms of something that's being called out, but no, I think we've always struggled with this.
And something that could help us if we're dealing with imposter syndrome is events like your Work Happy Happy Hour. Talk about what those events are.
Sure, yeah, so we do these the last Wednesday of every month, so the next one's coming up next Wednesday the 24th, 5 to 7 o'clock. It's at Celebrations Event Center in Marion. We have free food, free drinks, live music, and we keep them themed. So this month's is about motivation, imposter syndrome type stuff. So we've got a guest named Ashley Anderson who transitioned from stay-at-home mom into now running one of the most successful antique malls in the region. So she kind of overcame that. She's going to give tips and tricks on that. Live music from Heather Hammers, who's amazing. Free food from Fired Up Jellies and Jams, and free beer, like I said, which is always the big kick for people. So come on out. They're free, absolutely free for people to come out, and we've seen really cool networking happen and businesses being grown. So it's just this very relaxed environment that we continue to want to do for the rest of the year.
And I feel like this is probably a good event to go to and really just, sell yourself and your capabilities and get to know people who are in, a different work industry or whatever it may be, and, to make those connections. And I could only imagine that that's only beneficial to a person.
Yep, so far so good. I think we're ready to kind of get back out there and get back away from our computer screens and network. So that's how that's the biggest positive to it.
And how can people find out more about the Work Happy Happy Hour?
Yeah, so there is is a Facebook event created for this, so you can go on Facebook and find that. Find the one for April. If you could register, because we like to kind of get a heads up in terms of how many people are coming, how many beers we need to buy. And then also at Ethos, which is the co-working space small business incubator in Marion. They co-sponsor it with my company. So you can go to their website and register there as well.
That's awesome. Well, that definitely sounds like a good time. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on The Breakfast Show 2. We'll be back in just a bit.